Paltrocast.
Jody, how's your day going aside from talking to wrestling journalists?
It's pretty good. I have the day off, so I'm chilling with the dog. Very happy.
Well, can I start this off with a compliment and say you have one of the coolest names in wrestling ever? Now, did you have that name before you were in wrestling? In other words, was that a punk rock scene nickname that you had, Jody Thread?
No, well, Jody is my real name.
Yes.
And yeah, one of my friends just helped me come up with it. It's based on the band Minor Threat,
Yes.
and I like that band. So yeah, it literally was only a wrestling inspired name for me.
That's really cool to hear. Now, I like that your merch or your swag, your logo has the homage to Minor Threat in the logo and all that. What was your entry into punk rock? Was it Minor Threat?
Oh no, no, no. It was more local music. I can't even remember. Like maybe like a band called Riot 99, which is like a Toronto-based band. And back in like I want to say grade 9, I had like an older friend that brought me to like my first sort of punk rock show. And yeah.
Yeah, the going to the punk rock shows thing is something that I started doing in high school. And I didn't start going to independent wrestling shows until after college, probably. And you realize they're basically the same thing, the indie rock shows and the independent wrestling shows, or is at least is it very different there in Ontario?
No, very similar vibe for sure. Same energy.
Same energy in a good way. So you are one of the stars of Impact. How long did you have to keep it a secret that you were coming to Impact?
Um, Probably like 4 months. It was very challenging. It was very challenging.
I've never heard that before. 4 months. I usually hear, well, Scott Demore and I cut a really quick deal, and in 2 days I was there. 4 months.
4 months, we just sat on it like an egg, just waiting for it to hatch.
Did you know what your first match was going to be for those 4 months?
Absolutely not. That was a surprise.
Wow, that's fantastic. So that's not the first time you've been on television, of course. Coming to Impact, did you grow up watching TNA Impact?
Funny enough, growing up, I did not watch wrestling at all. Kind of like you, it was after university. I stumbled into an indie show in Toronto, and it was in that meeting, in that show, that I realized this was like my true love, and I needed to proceed with becoming a wrestler.
Was that one of those kinds of shows where it's local talent and then one or two people you may have seen on TV before?
It was straight local talent. Like I think I remember like the match in particular was like some sort of tag match, and I think like this guy Tarek, who's like an Ontario wrestler, and Shane Saber were like in that match, and it was like they're like good friends of mine now, which is really funny. Yeah, but like definitely like Ontario indie guys that everyone knew in Ontario. Yeah.
That's actually admirable that you saw wrestling kind of at its lowest. I'm not saying that in a mean way, but you saw
For
it in
sure.
the least glamorous kind of way. And you went, I love this. Whereas most people kind of see it at its most glamorous, biggest stages. And that's why they want to go to it.
I wonder if it's like you kind of mentioned that punk rock energy that I was super like familiar and comfortable with. I wonder if that has to do with it, because like bigger obviously TV shows are a little less punk rock. However, I would argue that Impact is kind of punk rock. Love
Oh,
it. Yeah.
it is.
Uh
It is super punk rock because everyone, regardless of what happens on camera, everyone gets along in Impact for starters.
yeah. Yeah.
So,
Pretty
one of
awesome.
the ways I annoy Impact is I ask about music to all of its talent. And I've learned over time there's a lot of secret musicians in the locker room. Somebody like Kazarian has excellent music taste. He skews more towards the hard rock metal kind of side. Is there anyone else in Impact that likes Minor Threat?
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if someone like Alex Shelley, he seems pretty into the kind of music I like, and a few other people's. But I think like from what I see, maybe even like Eric Young, I wouldn't be surprised. Like these are individuals that I feel like vibe with like my kind of music.
I should have thought Alex for a second. He was wearing a Rocket from the Crypt shirt the last time I interviewed him. And I can't imagine there's a big Rocket from the Crypt Impact overlap, but he probably has that
Yeah.
market cornered, as would you.
Yeah, it's funny too. Like even some of like the production guys, I get along really well because we have like similar tastes. Like there's this guy Lou, we like a lot of the same music, and this other guy Brian. So it's yeah, it's pretty cool.
So back to Impact, what are your goals within the company? Is it world championship, or is it going to be no, I want to be the first winner of the reverse battle royal for women?
For me, I kind of think there's kind of two things I would love to take away from this. The first, obviously, winning the women's championship, like that would be awesome if I can be like the knockouts champ. But also to walk away a better wrestler. Like I feel like I came into here as like an independent pro wrestler with very little, if any, TV experience, and I would love to walk away being like seen as someone that is a very good TV wrestler. And I think that this locker room will give me that. It just seems it's so supportive and there's so much good talent in there that it will challenge me and bring me up. So I would say those are like my two primary goals, but really just to experience like wrestling and like love it. Like I honestly like I think I'm 6 months deep at this point with Impact, and I'm just so happy, and I hope that I get to be happy for the full duration of my contract.
Do we know what your next few events or cities are, appearance wise? Because we just saw Impact 1000 in my native New York, but what's coming up? Where can we see you besides weekly television?
Right. Well, we were in Nashville this past weekend, which was awesome. And then after that, I believe is Chicago. And then after that, I'd have to look at my agenda.
The key is you're on all the shows that matter.
Right.
Exactly. So, summing up what I've learned right here is you're an accidental import into wrestling, but you can keep a secret, but you're on lots of upcoming Impact shows and you get along with people and all that kind of stuff. What's life like when you're not busy with Impact?
Um, my life is just complete chaos all the time. Like if I'm not at Impact, like my free weekends, I'm still super busy on the independent scene because I think it's just so important to get those reps in and to learn different styles and meet new people that I wouldn't be able to access, say, just working for Impact. In addition to that, like I help out at Santino's school, so I get my ring time there. Obviously, I have my beloved dog Dodger, who I try to spend all the time in the world with. And I still work in community development when I have time to do that. So
Wow.
super busy human being, I'll tell you that much.
And not and not just sticking around Ontario.
No, we go everywhere.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
what I asked before, piggybacking on that, the world championship is ultimately one of the goals along with developing yourself. But do you act outside of Impact? Do you have goals or aspirations to act?
I have accidentally fallen into a few roles because of wrestling, actually. One of them being like a few years ago, right before the pandemic. I'm in that show New Eden, which here in Canada, I think it's like it streams on oh my god, Crave TV, I think is the streaming network.
Yeah.
But I also found it on like some of my flights, which was kind of interesting. And it's just like I think it's like an 8 episode series. It's a mockumentary on like a cult, a women's cult. So yeah, I got to be one of the cast members for that, which was really fun. And I would not be opposed to more acting roles, but it's something that I'm not actively seeking at the moment. Does not mean that I wouldn't in the future.
Well, hey, I'm looking forward to what's to come from you in Impact, but more importantly, more merch. I'm looking forward to the more pun-oriented punk rock merch to come in the future because the threat thing, you're onto something there.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for your time, Jody, and really keep up all the greatness out there.
Thank you so much. See you around.
Paltrocast.